it will give you instructions on how to use CorelDRAW 2019 in conjunction with our laser engraver. There's also another video which shows you how to use CorelDRAW 2019 with the vinyl machine. We use the same program for both, but this one deals mostly with the laser engraver. If you open this program up, you look on the desktop and you look for the icon of a pencil with a green circle around it. It looks like this and should open up this screen. It may take a little bit for it to get opened up, but once you get there, you'll see the screen that I have. To get started, we're going to click on the plus sign for a new document, and you'll get this little dialog box. We're going to call this coaster because that's what we're going to build as a coaster. And we're going to change our size to 4.5 by 4.5. So you'll have to select this box and type in 4.5 by 4.5 to get to these proportions. The reason we do 4.5 by 4.5 is that is the size of the small piece of wood block that I have that I will give you, if I haven't already, that we'll use to cut our coaster out on the laser. So once we have this, we're going to tell it OK. And we get a screen where we can start working. You can see how it changed the size of my work area. I can come up here and make this different. If I want to make this 8.5 by 4.5, I can do that. And it just adjusts the size of the background that I'm working on. So this would be my board or whatever that I'm going to cut into. So I just have to tell it what size I'm working with. We want to go back to 4.5, but you can see how that works. And you can change the aspect ratios and those different types of things. So over here on the left-hand side is most of the tools that we're going to be working with. We can draw lines, and there's different options when you click on this box. You can see there's different options in here. If I click and hold, you can see these. There's rectangles, there are ellipses, there are polygons and stars and different shapes and those types of things. And then you've got text, and we've got different ways to fill colors. And I'm going to show you how most of these work. For now, to start out though, we're going to go to the ellipse tool, and I'm just going to draw an ellipse on the screen inside of my 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch square. You can see up here the size that it's given me, and it's not quite proportional. We can change this a couple ways. You can click on these corners and drag them, and you can try to adjust this to try to get it round if possible. You can lock the ratio to where, say if I type this in and I want to make this 3, then the size of my vertical grows as does my size of the horizontal. They're going to grow proportionately to each other. If I unlock the ratio, now if I make this back to 4, notice what my horizontal or my vertical does. It stays the same. So if you're changing those, you want to look at your lock ratio. I like to leave it off because we're going to make this 3.5 by 3.5, and that allows me to come and type into both of these and make this a perfect circle. And then I need to center it up. Strange thing with CorelDRAW is there are some shortcuts, kind of like you have in AutoCAD. To center up an object inside of our square, we type in P, and it centers it up for us. I don't know why they chose P for that, but that's what they chose. So that's what we're working with. I'm done with this. I'm going to choose my pick tool. I can just click off to the side to deselect it, and I want to right click. I don't want to move. I want to right click, and I want to go down to my properties. And sometimes it does that. It's selected, but there's not the box I want, so I'm going to deselect it, come back and open it up, and now I have the properties that I'm looking for. So for this circle, it tells us that for our outline, we have a line weight of 0.5. We want to change this to a hairline. Let me explain how this works. Anything that is a hairline is going to cut on the laser. Anything that is not a hairline, if my line weight was 0.5 or larger, it's going to engrave. So that's the difference between raster and vector. And I can show you that with some images that I bring in here in a little bit. But a vector is a line. So if I zoom in here, you shouldn't see any pixels. It should be a solid line with no pixels. This is going to cut. If I change this to an 8, it's probably still going to stay a vector. Yeah, it will. But it's going to engrave that. So we want to leave this as a hairline. Come back and change this to a hairline. This is the only thing that should be a hairline, the thing that we're going to cut out. Now let's say that we want to bring in an object that we can trace and put into our coaster that we're going to use for decorating our coaster. I'm going to come to a new window here, and I'm just going to search for the Ford logo. It's kind of simple to use. And I'm looking for something like this that has a solid color with a white contrast. This one here would not be good because you can see inside the Ford logo it kind of changes from a darker to a lighter. This one here kind of has a reflection on it. We want to avoid things like this. But an item like this, or even one that's black and white, will work. Something like this where you have a solid color with a white contrast to it is ideal, and that's what we're looking for. Also look at your size. This is a 2500 by 1102 JPEG, so it's very large. There's going to be some smaller ones. You can see how this one gets a little bit smaller as you go through. So you want to try to find something that's fairly large. I'm just going to right click. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back into CorelDRAW, and I'm going to right click and paste this. Okay, and it's going to be really big. But when you look at this, when we zoom in with my mouse, you can see how this is pixelated, and it's not a clean line. So this would be a rasterized image. We want to create a vector out of this so that we have crisp, clean lines. We don't have any of this fuzziness around the edges. So what I'm going to do is go up here to Trace Bitmap. And it gives you some options. You can do a quick trace, which is the most common. But if your quick trace doesn't work, come down to your outline trace, and we're going to look for a detailed logo. And I'll just show you what that does. It says mine is too big. We're just going to reduce it a little bit. And it shows you what it looks like after it's been traced. If you don't like how this looks, that's what that. I want to bring this box up. There we go. I can slide my detail over it and increase the detail on it, depending on how that works. You're going to see maybe some changes to your image down here. Mine didn't change a whole lot. I kind of like how that looks. I'm just going to tell it OK. And now I have one on top of the other. And it's kind of hard to tell, but if I drag this off, you'll see that I've got two of them. So the top one is my vector, and it picked up that fuzziness. It was too detailed. So we want to fix that. But the bottom one, you can see, still has that fuzziness as well. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to try to just do a quick trace on this and see if that helps. And it's still kind of thinking. There we go. Now we've got it. There. It's a little choppy, but we don't have that grayness in there. So I'm going to go with that and call that good. We're going to delete our original. This one can go away. This one I need to scale down. So my circle is 3.5. So I want to scale this down. This time I want to lock my ratio so it stays the same. And I'm going to go down to a 3. And then I'm going to tell it P, and it centers it up. Okay, so I've got my logo inside of here. I want to change the color to black, my fill color. I'm not going to mess with the outline at all. And I'm going to come to my fill color, and I'm going to see if I can make this. Oops, I don't want that. Okay. So what it's telling me is there's a box around the outside. Notice how it made a black rectangle. It's telling me that we have a box around the outside. So if I right click on this and ungroup, and if I change my outline line weight to 0.5, now you can see that box. I've ungrouped it so I can delete this box. I'm going to select all of this, make sure this is 0.5, and now we can come in and we can change our fill color black, but I want to keep some white. Let me go back here. I'm just going to do it the hard way. We should be able to select an internal part, come down and make that part black. We can select this and make it black in these pieces. Now, I do want to show you something here. Let's say that this never got colored in. Let's make this white just so that we can say that it was never colored. And we want to color this part in because there's going to be some parts that you may want to come back and fill in with color or make them black or whatever. So that's what you use the, I don't know if I can find it, my Smart Fill tool. Okay, so I'm going to go to Smart Fill. I'm just going to click inside of the area that I want to fill in with color. And it's going to automatically do that, and I can drag it down. It gave me an outline, which I'm not real thrilled about. So I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to change my outline to none, and that gets rid of that. So I can show you that on another thing. Maybe we'll do this larger piece. And I'm going to make my fill color just white so we don't have a fill. And I'm going to go back down here to my Smart Fill. We're going to click on the inside, and then I can drag this back down, make it black. Notice it's going to give me that outline. So you got to come back and turn your outline off. But so we've got this. Now, a couple other things we can do. We're going to add some text to this. So you can come up here and simply just make a text box and just type into it. With your text box, you can change your font. Let's say we want to go with a fancier font. We can change the size of this. If it gets, see how it disappeared? It says that it's not big enough to fit inside of my box, which is fine. I'm just going to go with 24 for right now. We can center this up. I didn't want to add a bullet to it. I wanted to go through my centering. There we go. Center this up, that type of thing. Another thing that I like that you can do with text is you can take this text and you convert it into lines, or basically into a vector. So I'm going to click on this text box, and I'm going to go Control Q. Again, I don't know why it's Q, but it's Q. So when we do that, now it gets rid of that box on the outside. And I can take this and I can drag it and make it larger. I can move it around. I can tell it P if I want to. It's centered up. Once it's centered, I can drag this straight up. Notice when I'm dragging, it kind of goes off to the side, but if I hold down Shift, now it centers it up for me. So I got that where I want it. Okay, so that's one way we can do text. Another thing we can do with text, now I know I'm going kind of quick because there's a lot to cover here, but we're going to put in a 3-point curve. And I'm going to come down here and just click my, let me try that again. I want to put in 3 points. 1, I'm holding my mouse down, so this was 2, and then I drag it down for 3, and that would be the bend of my curve. We can put text on this curve if you select an edge. If I select the edge correctly, see how it angled that? So now it's going to put it, and it's going to follow that curve when you put in text. So that's something else you can do, is you can kind of follow that. But anyway, there's a lot of different things you can do. When you bring in objects, try to find things that are, like I said, kind of a black and white or a solid color with a white contrast, and not something with lots of colors, not something with fading or shading or those different types of things. Try to keep them simple that you bring them in. It makes it a lot easier to trace. Now that I've got this, let's say this is what I want to print onto the laser. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go down to Print, and you're going to get your print dialog box. I'm going to open it up here because I don't have this printer connected to my computer, but you should get this. And you're going to look for the Epilog Engraver Windows X64. And next to that, you have a little settings button. We're going to click on the settings button. And when you do that, let me see. Do that, you will get a window that looks like this. So these are just how you want to set it up. You'll have to adjust all these. We have a raster and a vector. It's going to engrave my Ford logo and my text. I'm going to cut, which is vector, out the circle. So we're going to go with combined. Tell it your size is 4.5 by 4.5. If you're not sure of that, you can come back here and you can look, and it'll tell you right here. Print 2. Autofocus, make sure the autofocus is selected. And then your raster settings, we want to set our speed at 35, our power on 100. And then to cut, we're going to go at 5% speed, 100% power, and then my frequency, I always just set to automatic. Once you have that, you need to make sure that the laser is turned on. So if you look down to your right, you'll see this part of the laser. Here's the switch. Turn it on by pressing this button. Turn the laser on, and then you need to turn the dust collector on. The dust collector, the switch looks like this. It's clear on the back wall. So if you go in the shop, back by the back door, up on the wall, you'll see this box, and there's a gray box with a switch. You flip this switch on, turns the dust collector on. What that does is it takes all the smoke out of the machine while it's engraving and cutting. So once you have the dust collector turned on and you have the laser turned on with this switch, we have everything set up. You're going to tell it OK. You'll get back to your print window that looks like this, and you're going to click on Print Preview. The print preview looks good. Right click, tell it print, and it will send it to the laser. You should see in the little screen on the laser, it should show up with the name of your project that you worked on. Press the green button until